Welcome back, everybody. Time now for What's Hot. We talk about the stories that have us all talking.
And this afternoon, we're joined by Jonna and Willow from Milwaukee Social Media, and Jeff Wagner is back with us. So a mining company says it has no intention of pulling its armed security guards from a drilling site in the Pinocchio Hills forest.
Those guards have rifles. They're dressed in camouflage. A Wisconsin senator says there's, quote, no evidence to justify their presence. We do want to bring everybody in the group up to date here. The mining company here has come clean. They said this company is not licensed in Wisconsin. They're going to stop using them until, take maybe 3-4 days before this company has a license. But the company wants this firm used up there. Why?
Because they need to, because they're being subjected to terrorism by some kooky eco-terrorists. The mining site was attacked while they were trying to do preliminary drilling. A couple employees were assaulted. There was a couple $1,000s of damage done, and the people that are opposed to this have no intention of stopping. They're out there to protect their interests and their employees, and of course they're going to use armed security guards.
Okay, there are armed security guards and there are armed security guards. There are uniformed guards that openly carry their weapons, and then there are guys in camo with automatic rifles that hide in the trees,
semi-automatic.
wearing masks over their face, which they are, which were not disclosed to anyone on site until somebody saw them, took a picture, and turned it in. That's overkill.
Why is it overkill? They're entitled to protect their employees and protect their property. I'd be much more impressed.
They're snipers, Jeff.
But they haven't
Those guys are snipers.
But they haven't shot anybody.
You know what? If they really wanted to stop it, they would use intimidation, and they would have uniformed guys just standing right there.
Why don't you stand up and look out for the employees who are assaulted?
I am not looking out for the employees who are assaulted. I'm not even not advocating for armed security. I'm saying get the snipers out of the trees. They're only there to kill.
This is just the extremism that you people like to engage in.
They're not snipers. I said they had the right to be protected.
But they're snipers.
I said guys
they're not
in
snipers.
Okay, so you're offended by the camouflage. That's why they're wearing masks and hiding up in trees. They're literally hiding up in trees.
Do you know what the eco-terrorists, they were wearing masks when they attacked, so that's okay?
No, it wasn't okay, and that's why they have the right to armed security.
Sure, exactly.
That armed security, though, if what you want to do is deter, you make them visible. You don't hide them in trees.
You know
that's
that they're
crazy.
There. They want to catch. What do you mean it's crazy? What's crazy is allowing the kooks that are out there trying to stop this legally imposed thing.
You are right about that, and nobody said, or at least I didn't say, that they shouldn't be allowed to protect themselves. I'm talking about guys with semi-automatic rifles hiding in the trees.
Okay, so
that's overkill.
So you'd rather have guards with semi-automatic handguns? Big deal. Come on.
No,
All right.
no.
And again, the company here has suspended use of this firm until they're licensed by the state of Wisconsin
until their papers are in order
to do their job here.
Now more of What's Hot.
Again, we're joined by Jonna and Willow and Jeff Wagner. Parents do anything for their kid. One mother's, her son was diagnosed with a form of epilepsy, gave him some seizures. She says she tried everything and nothing worked, so then she turned to medical marijuana. She says the results were immediate, but many feel pediatric pot could have some bad long-term effects.
Okay, first of all, he was diagnosed with a very rare form of autism when at birth. He had up to 250 seizures a day where he would stop breathing completely, sometimes for close to a minute. They're very worried about brain damage. He tried 17 different medications, and his doctor finally recommended a liquid form of a cannabinoid with most of the THC removed. And the first time he got it, he stopped having seizures. He hasn't had a seizure in 8 months.
That's the story. Oh, I'm thinking that marijuana used medically in this situation will have less impact on his brain than 200 and what seizures?
250 a day.
Right.
Yeah, and he was near death.
Yeah, I've never had too much of an issue with medical marijuana. I guess I look at whether it's adults or kids. I look at all the really heavy-duty narcotic drugs that gets prescribed. And I mean, again, I know the American Pediatric Association is kind of up in the air as to whether it's good or not. But in certain circumstances, if the choice is giving out, for example, heavy narcotics to kids or giving out medical marijuana, who am I to say that a doctor can't try medical marijuana?
Absolutely, and some of the opponents of this practice have said that, well, there are no long-term studies. But I will tell you this: there are no long-term studies on Ritalin or any other ADHD medication either. And literally millions of children in the United States are prescribed it at any given time.
Yeah,
I think it's difficult to judge, let's say, this mother's decision if you're not in this situation where you have a child who could die, who's having 250 seizures a day.
I'm much more concerned with the heavy-duty drugs that we give our kids on a daily basis. That's where I think the concern needs to be.
Actually, we agree.
Sure.
That's kind of crazy.